I'm going to sing something throughout this, and it's simple enough if you can pick up on it. Please sing with me. I'm gonna lift my sister up, she is not heavy. I'm gonna lift my sister up, she is not heavy. I'm gonna lift my sister up, she is not heavy. If I don't lift her up, if I don't lift her up, if I don't lift her up, I will fall down. Over the past several years, we have gotten more selfish. We go into Starbucks, we expect our order to be a certain way, and when it's anything less than that, we complain. The baristas happily remake the drink, no extra charge. Maybe it's the internet. No matter how impatient or picky we are, if what we're looking at is boring us or not meeting our expectations in some way, we can instantly click away from an article or website. If someone disagrees with me, I can unfriend them, click off their vlog. Poof, they're gone. Out of sight, out of mind. But of course, when I said the barista at Starbucks would happily remake a drink, I was lying to you. I've been a barista. There's nothing happily about remaking a picky person's snobby order to make them feel better. And of course, we all know that when we unfriend someone or click off of a website or YouTube video, we are not Thanos. We're not obliterating that person's existence. They're still there. They're still boring, still disagreeable. Just not with our attention on them anymore. So I wonder if this consumer culture, retail customer service, combined with the speed of the internet, is this making us more selfish? I don't know. To be sure, some of us need to be more self-oriented, to take better care of ourselves, love ourselves, take pride in ourselves, feel that ourselves are valuable and worthy of love and respect. That's not the kind of selfishness I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is a fallacy that a lot of us, particularly white Christian Americans, hold very sacred. And that is the fallacy of independence. Independence is important to us. We celebrate a day in the name of independence every July 4th. But independence is not a sustainable way to live. I'm gonna lift my brother up, he is not heavy. I'm gonna lift my brother up, he is not heavy. I'm gonna lift my brother up, he is not heavy. If I don't lift him up, if I don't lift him up, if I don't lift him up, I will fall down. We want to believe in independence, personal responsibility, personal freedom. We want a say in the rules we have to follow. We want a say in who has power over us. We wave the flag and think of cowboys roaming free on the great American plains. No one looking over our shoulder. No one telling us what to do. No accountability. Wait a minute. No accountability. This is where things start to break down. This is where this rising selfishness of our current time in the American fallacy of independence intersect with our history and create a toxic mess with disastrous consequences. You see, in the United States, freedom, as defined by white Christians, began with the freedom to own people. The freedom to enslave other human beings. You hear the contradiction in that. The freedom to enslave other human beings. We talk about taxation without representation. We talk about religious freedom and democracy and freedom of speech. All of that is also true. But from the beginning, American freedom has always been understood as not just freedom from excessive authority, but freedom from any authority. In other words, freedom from accountability altogether. But when someone causes pain, what happens to their victim? No one is accountable for that pain. What about their freedom? What about the freedom of those babies we lost 6 years ago in Newtown? What about the freedom of Idea Pendleton? What about the freedom of Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice? What about the freedom of the people at the Pulse nightclub or the Las Vegas concert or Mother Emanuel or the Oak Creek Temple or this week in Jersey City? Freedom is only freedom if it comes with accountability. And this is why the fallacy of independence needs to be exposed. Because, my friends, we are not independent beings. We are, by our nature, interdependent. We are interdependent not only with each other human, but with all living beings, indeed with the planet itself. I'm gonna lift my neighbor up, they are not heavy. I'm gonna lift my neighbor up, they are not heavy. If I don't lift them up, if I don't lift them up, if I don't lift them up, I will fall down. Gun rights activists, climate change deniers, white nationalists, they all have something in common. A deep and abiding commitment to the fallacy of independence. Freedom for them means freedom from accountability. It wasn't them who pulled the trigger, they're the good guys, they want us to think. They're framing this conversation not in terms of life and death, but in terms of freedom. So that's why I want to talk to you about freedom and what it means to me. I want to talk about the problems with American definitions of freedom that leave out any accountability to our neighbors. Because if in order to get freedom I have to limit other people's rights, then it's not really freedom, is it? The unrestricted freedom to own guns is clearly having an adverse effect on the freedom of my neighbors to live in peace, or frankly, to live at all. All those people I listed a minute ago, others we've talked about tonight, those people were gunned down because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, or for whatever reason. Are we prepared to lay their bodies on the altars of independence? Are we prepared to sacrifice their lives because some people exercise freedom by owning weapons of war? We have to change our mindset from one of independence to one of interdependence. We have to understand ourselves not as individuals, but as community, as neighbors, accountable to each other. I don't want to walk through a store or drive down a road afraid of my fellow citizen. not knowing who's concealing a weapon, not knowing whether or not that person's had a bad day. I want to trust my fellow human beings. I want to believe that human nature is more communal, more compassionate, more generous than this idolatry of independence. Shortly after Sandy Hook, someone asked me, "Don't you want to protect your children?" I said, "Yes, I do." Which is why I don't own a gun. As we were reminded, children are twice as likely to get killed with a gun if you have one in the home. But more than that, I want to protect my children, all of our children, not by surrounding them with weapons, but by surrounding them with friendship, with community, with love, with people who understand our abiding interdependence with each other. If we do this, one of us at a time, one family at a time, one neighborhood, one town at a time, we will create communities that look out for each other, that care about each other, that recognize I have a stake in your life and your well-being. We will see people when they're in pain, and they will feel comfortable enough to seek help rather than retribution. People won't be interested in owning assault weapons because they won't be so insecure as to even think about it. We might even be happier and more at peace with ourselves, even if you mess up my latte. I'm gonna